Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. We are going to play with, among other things, because as you know, yoga is a full body experience. So even if I say we're going to work on hips, we're going to work on everything. We're going to stretch, we're going to breathe, we're going to do all those things so that the whole body receives the attention that it deserves. But we're going to do a little bit of a focus on the hips, and you're going to definitely want a strap today. And go ahead and take your strap and put it in a little bit of a loop. It's not a very big loop, it's a head size loop. Never did that before. So it's about that size loop. And then set it beside your mat, and we are going to come down to the floor. You're going to want a couple blocks as well, but those we won't be using right away. So set those aside, and you come down to your back. Oh, that feels good. And leave the knees bent and your feet on the floor if you don't mind. And just let the hands rest on your low belly. And start to let your back settle down into the floor. If it feels good, take the feet a little bit wider on your mat and drop the knees in towards center. That it just allows the legs to rest so you don't have to hold them. And feel the nice expansion of belly and then chest as we inhale, and feel the exhale, the belly drawing back down toward the floor. If you feel like your back is overarching, go ahead and lift the hips, lengthen the tailbone. If you're finding your back flat on the floor, drop or anteriorly tilt the pelvis or draw down toward the tailbone so that you can create a little bit of space there. And then feel the breath draw in and exhale out. Draw it in. And exhale it out. And then I want you to draw in the breath to the count of 4. Hold the breath for a count of 4 if that's okay for you. And then slowly exhale for the count of 4. So inhaling, it's your count, your pace. Hold the breath if it's okay. And exhale slowly. And keep that going. Simple counted breath. Inhaling count of 4. Holding the breath for 4. Exhaling. Good. 3 more rounds here. And when you finish that 3rd round, just release that, let it go. Take the feet back to hips width apart and grab the strap. You don't need to use the loop right now, you can, but you can if you want. Otherwise, just take the strap around the right ball mound of the foot and take that leg up toward the ceiling. Try to keep the knee straight without hyperextending it. Even if it's not like straight up in front of you, it can be down a little bit lower, that's perfectly fine. And just kind of notice the subtle hamstring stretch. So I want you to soften the foot away from you. Maybe it levels out with the knee, and then bring it up a little bit higher. And go slow, just start to observe your body as you exhale, bringing that leg closer, maybe inhale as it lowers down. Just slow, purposeful movement. Keep the knee pointing straight forward, right? So that it doesn't roll in, it doesn't roll out. The strap is sliding in your hands or the arms are moving either way. Don't forget your breath. Good, just one more on this side. And then hold the leg up, take the strap in the right hand, allow the left knee to roll out to the left and allow the right leg to roll out toward the right. I do this one a lot. I like this stretch. With the left leg straight, this can be a much harder to control stretch. But with the left leg counterbalancing, I really like how this feels. So we have to keep the left hip down on the floor, so don't let the left hip roll off. Flex your right foot and maybe point the heel toward the ceiling just a little bit, not an over rotation, but just a little bit, and feel the stretch in the inner thigh. And then squeeze the legs together, crisscross the thighs. So the one leg goes across the other, and then open both up again. The left knee is bent, the right leg is straight, and then bring it up and crisscross. Good, open. This time we're going to hold the crisscross. So cross the right leg over, hold the strap with your left hand, relax your right arm, it can be out to the side, and feel the stretch along the whole outer side of that right hip. You might feel it more in the hip. You might feel it along this iliotibial band, the IT band, which is where I have a little bit of a knee issue on the other leg. You might feel it all around the knee or even into the calf, right? Depending on what's going on with your leg. Is it the hamstring that's tight, the IT band, quadricep? There's just all kinds of fun stuff going on there. So notice your breath and notice as you draw the left knee toward the right, you're going to get more stretch in that right hip. I like this again more than a straight left leg because there's like a stopping point where that right thigh can't go anymore. So we're really concentrating the stretch on that outer hip. All right, bring it back up. Hold that leg nice and straight. Now straighten the left leg if you want. If you don't want, don't worry about it. Hold through the lower belly, like really draw that low belly in. Lift the left leg just maybe 10 inches off the floor. Let go of the strap if you can. So now we've added forward. Your arms can be overhead, they can be out to the side. The strap is just hanging on that leg. Breathe, everybody. Press through the belly, doing a little bit of forward. And then we're almost done here. I want you to lift the left leg and lower it until it almost touches. If that right leg hanging out up there without the strap is too much for you, hold the strap. It's okay. What we're doing is lifting and lowering the left leg. We're just taking it up and exhaling it. Good. One more. Lift up. Come halfway down with the left leg. If you were to be standing on the floor doing this, here we have pyramid pose. Okay, so draw the belly in, press the shoulders down, feel the work here, and then take the left leg back up. Grab your strap if you let go of it. Wrap your left foot in the strap, bend the right knee and put that foot back on the floor. So we have a bent right knee, and we're like, I'm going to flip over everybody because otherwise I have no space to stretch with my lovely wall right there. So you've got the strap around your left foot, your right foot is on the floor, right knee is bent, and here we go again, just slowly lower and lift. Don't overdo it, but see if you can keep a nice length through the left leg without bending or over bending the knee. Just see if you can find the balance here. Some of us have wide open hamstrings. Some of us have really tight hamstrings. Most of us are somewhere in the middle. So if your leg doesn't come up as high as mine, don't worry about it. No force. Breathe. Good. Just a couple more here. Oh, they should feel really good. I have my sister actually who had some hip issues. She was a school bus driver, and we did these simple leg stretches, and a lot of that hip pain went away. It's really interesting. All right, so the leg is back up. You're going to hold that strap with your left hand. The right knee will splay out to the right, and the left leg will go out to the left. You're going to notice one side different than the other, right? Maybe this side is tight compared to the other side. Maybe you feel the stretch in a whole different area. So just be mindful. You should have full control of the stretch. The right hip stays on the floor. The strap is assisting you on the left. And just find your breath. Let that inner thigh stretch. And here we go. We're going to squeeze the legs together and take them across. You're crossing the thighs. So the right knee goes across to the left, and the left leg goes across to the right. And then open it. Inhale, squeeze and cross. Exhale it, let it go. Good, let's do 3 more. Bring it across, stretch. And open. Good, bring it across. This next one we're gonna hold, so bring it across, let the thighs crisscross. Feel that stretch. Some of you might need to draw that left hip down a little bit. And then feel this really nice stretch as the right knee reaches toward the left side. It catches that left leg going across, and you get that really sweet stretch. Some of you might not identify this as a sweet stretch, but if you think about all of our activities, I know some of you play tennis, a lot of you walk, bike, even things that if we're sitting a lot, right, all of this side of that leg is tight, the hip gets tight. We quit using those cute little butt muscles, and we find all kinds of issues. All right, release back, take the leg straight up, now straighten the right leg. Find that stretch, right? So as soon as you straighten the right leg, that left hamstring has to work a little bit harder. Either hang on to your strap or just let it go. So here's core work. Lift the right foot a few inches off the floor. Your hands can be down on the floor. They can be out to the sides, whatever feels right for you. Make sure you're not overarching your low back. If you are, hands can even go under your hips. And here we go. You're going to lift the right leg and lower. Good, take it up. So right leg is working, but so is the left leg. Take it up. Slow work here, everybody. And up. Exhale. Good, last one, take it up. And then lower it hard way. I want you to think about pyramid pose. What does that look like if you were standing on the floor? Your right foot is actually tilted out just a little bit. Toes are tilted out just a little bit. Breathe. That top leg, that right or left leg is stamping its foot on the ceiling. And reach it up. Holy moly. Loop your right foot in with your left foot. Drop that strap down to your heels and then pull straight down on both legs. And breathe. Oh, there we go. And then cross your left foot over your right. So as if you're just crossing those legs. Flex the feet strongly. So we're going to play with this stretch standing, but you're maybe starting to feel a little bit of this, and then the ever so slightest movement toward the left side. Just like, use the strap to keep your stability. And breathe. Woo. Take the legs centered, cross them the other way. So that your left leg is behind, your right leg is in front, and then an ever so slight stretch toward the right. You're just leaning a little bit in that direction. If the left hip, the opposite hip lifts a little, that's okay. It's probably pretty normal. And bring it to center, uncross, release the strap. Again, and it's optional, you can keep the strap, tone the belly, everybody. Lower one leg, hold, lift it up, core work, lower the other. Lift, good, one more, both sides, lower and up, last one, lower and up, take both hands under both hips, right, underneath the sacrum, lower the legs maybe a quarter of the way, what it looks like for you, and then point and flex your feet. So even when we flex those feet a lot, it can really start to get cranky at the fronts of the ankles. So we always want to make sure we're moving the ankles in every direction. Good, lower the legs another maybe quarter of the way. Here's where it gets tricky, right? That low back wants to overarch. There should be and could be space there, but don't overarch it. Tone through the belly, everybody. See if you can lower it another quarter, so it's almost to the floor. You have to work super hard to keep that belly in and lower the rest of the way. Take those hands out from underneath. Bend your knees. Woo! Bring those knees toward your chest. And roll over to one side. I'm going to be on my left side, so you decide for you which is better. You can use here for your head. That can be really nice so that your bottom arm doesn't get all crunchy in, your head doesn't do real funky things, right? Dropping down to the floor. And then bend your knees. We're going to do just a few quick ones here because I do this with you all a lot. But again, as I've been doing some more and more research, one of the issues with the outer leg, this IT band, some of that hip bursitis, is that the tensor fascia lata, which is this dancer muscle I talk about, and the glutes aren't working enough. And this is one that was over and over and over again. Do clams, right? Do clamshell. So the feet stay together, the knee lifts. Here's the trick. If you notice, I'm putting my hand like right in front of my hip so that I know if I'm going to roll that hip back. I don't want to roll it back. Keep the hip stacked. So lift, squeeze, and lower. Yep, lift, go slow, lift. One of the videos said that if you start to feel this after 2 or 3 or 4, this is your work, right? If you feel it after 10 or more, you can take one of those elastic bands and put those around your knees to give it a little bit of extra work. Good, taking it up. We got 3 left. When you squeeze up, give it a pause, but don't roll the hip back. And 2, and 1. Good, straighten that top leg and turn the toes down. Tap the big toe to the floor, and then draw the big toe back a little bit. So you've got some hip extension here, and then lift and tap. Go slow. Don't let the toes lift up. Keep that big toe heading toward the floor. And lift down, forward. We're working with tensor fascia lata. Breathe up. Press the bottom leg down, by the way. You might as well get that working. Good. Last one here. I want you to hold. Toe points down. The hips level out. I just noticed my top hip was rolling forward, right? Makes a big difference. And then give me a pulse for 10. 10, 9, 8. You should be feeling that back part of your butt. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. If it does not hurt, just let it rest. Okay, a little bit of a stretch for this side. Bend your knee, switch sides. So just roll over or flip over if you need. Roll onto the other side, make sure your head is in nice alignment. You can use a block, a blanket. And then level out the hips, so there's one stacked on top of the other, the knees are bent. Keep the feet together, and maybe like I press my elbow into that top hip, so I know when it rolls away. So we're just lifting. When we get to the top of the lift, squeeze, and then lower. Yeah, it's really, you've seen these if you were doing the aerobics classes at the gym in the 80s. Anybody remember those, right? We did these all the time. But it's only now that I really understand why. It's so funny. We can talk about the 80s, but the outfits really, they were terrible. Anybody remember late warmers? Yeah. Good, couple more. Hold this last one, just hold it up. Notice if you're rounding, feel back, right? That's what we're talking about. And then release, straighten the top leg. Press the bottom leg into the floor, turn the big toe down and just tap that big toe to the floor. So you know you've got that internal rotation. Keep the hips level and lift and tap and lift. And so you might think, why is this important for yoga, right? What's this got to do with yoga? If your hips and your glutes are strong, guess what happens to your standing poses, right? What happens to your balance poses? It's not one or the other. We work this body in a myriad of ways. I know one of you does Tai Chi, which is awesome, right? Several of you are tennis players. It's all good. A lot of us walk. Yep, so I talk to ignore the sensation in the hip. Here we go. Lift and hold, tone, turn the toes down. That was tricky. Check the hips one more time and let's do it about a soft bounce for 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. Lower it back behind you. Let the foot rest. Stretch out that hip. Holy moly. I know. We're almost done with this, and then we will get up and get moving and get some blood flowing, I promise. All right, come on to your belly, everybody. Last little set here. It's one of those things I find that if I don't do them right away, I will not do them. All right, so never been a procrastinator, so there you go. All right, you're on your belly, you're pressing your hips to the floor, lift your left leg and hold. Find your breath. Point your toes. Keep that hip bone on the floor and pulse up for 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Flex the foot, turn the foot out a little bit. And pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I hope you're still there. 3, 2, 1, and lower. Other side, press the hip bone into the floor, point the toes, lift the leg, find that. Keep those hip bones pressing down, everybody. Here we go. 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flex the foot, turn the toes out a little bit. 10, 9, 8, 7, yep, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Bend both knees, lift one knee off the floor. Keep the hips down. And release, lift the other knee. And lower down, straighten the legs, everybody. And lift up through the belly. Lower it back down. Press up to table pose. Some of you might be feeling your back here because of that, the leg lifts. If you do, just sink back into a baby child's pose for a moment. Just give it a little long stretch and then come on back up. Once you're in table pose, press one leg back, press the other leg back, and come to downward facing dog. Oh, yeah, feel that stretch. Pedal the feet. Check your hands, check your arms. We've been doing tons of work with hands, with arms, making sure we've got good alignment. And then just bend one knee and stretch the other leg. So one heel heads toward the floor as the other heel lifts away from the floor. Check your upper body, don't get too lazy there, right? Make sure it stays strong. And then switch sides. Big deep breath. Release, take both feet wide on your mat and go right to the edges of my mat. Walk your hands back. Bend the knees, hands come to knees. And come all the way up. Ooh, shake it out, everybody. But I'm just going to gather my blocks and bring them up to the front of my mat. You won't need your strap for a while, if at all, for the rest of the class. So you never know what I come up with as I veer off into one direction or the other. So right now, just have your blocks where you can reach them. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down. You can take hands to blocks if you want. Don't have to though. We don't need them just yet. And notice the legs, right? Your hands are either on your blocks or on the floor, or you know who you are. Halfway up is awesome. But then press the knees away from each other and breathe. And feel as we press the knees away. Imagine if you could draw the heels toward each other. It's really a weird thing. So the heels, the inner heels draw toward each other like there's a magnet there, but the knees stay wide. Breathe. You should feel all kinds of activity with the hamstrings and the hips. And then bend the knees, step back, right leg. Lower your right knee to the floor. You can take your hands to your blocks. Come into a nice easy stretch here. Shoulders move away from the front, right? They draw back a little bit, finding that first stretch. If you've got knee stuff, just be mindful, try to stay above that kneecap. And then straighten the front leg. You might have to adjust. So we're straightening the front leg, getting a stretch of the hamstring. The hips, relatively speaking, are staying, the hips and the knee are staying in line with each other, but if it's back a little bit, it's okay. It's all right, because it's all right. I don't know where that came from. Bend your front knee, everybody. Take the right knee off the floor. Find your high lunge. We've been doing a lot here too, with going from low lunge to high lunge. So we want to make sure the inner line of the legs are nice and strong, right? I draw them in isometrically. The inner thighs are working with the pose. Your blocks can be higher. They don't have to be middle height or low. And straighten the front. Straight is always relative. Trust your hamstrings. You never force anything. If your leg isn't completely straight or it's more bent than straight, it's all right, right? If you're feeling the stretch in your hamstrings, you're doing this pose. Trust your body. Now you can have the blocks up high. It's kind of a really nice way to lengthen the torso. Or you can lower them down a little bit. We want length, we want stretch. Bend your front knee. Ooh, find that lunge. Take your hands to your knee. Press up. Leg straight, hip straight. Imagine this front knee, this whole front thigh is pressing against the wall, just like an imaginary wall here. And then take the arms. Big deep breath. Check the back leg. Make sure it's solid. Put some weight in that back foot, back leg. Exhale all the way in. Ooh. Good. Lower your right knee. Slide the left leg back. Shake out your hips. You're allowed to shake out your hips. And then when you're ready, step forward with your right leg. Oh. And breathe, little stretch here, stretching that left leg, hands are at your blocks. It's all good, everybody. Every day is a different day. We find where we can go, we give it our best selves. When you're ready, let's straighten up that front leg. And breathe, you can always adjust. Sometimes, whether it's a lunge or this, right, that front leg's hip will roll forward. And you might notice like the toes rolling in or something like that. If that's the case, roll the hip out, make sure the knee is pointing straight up. You can flex that front leg's foot. Breathe, then lengthen the torso over. Good, bend the front knee. Oh. Lift that back knee. Engage the legs, find that lunge. Your hands are on your blocks. You can straighten the front leg. Breathe. What happens when you do? What happens to the hips? What happens to the torso? Can you stay long? Can you make just the littlest bit of a tone in your belly? Right, if we think about what we were doing on the floor, this is not pyramid, it's a variation of it. But when the legs are active, the low belly tones, that transverse abdominis tones to help us with these poses. All right, bend your front knee, hands to knee, push into the back leg, lift the arms up, find your high lunge. Big deep breath, smile. That's it. Back glute, active, active, active. And lower down. Woo. Set your blocks aside. Step back, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Maybe you notice those legs are starting to feel a little more weight, right? Come on down. Plank pose, everybody. Lower the knees to the floor, but hold the plank. Now, this is tricky, right? Because a lot of us want to drop the hips. That feels terrible on our backs, but we also don't want to bring our butts up. We want to level it out like we were laying on a diagonal board. And breathe. Press into the left knee and lift the right leg if you can. Don't sway it out. If this hurts the heck out of your knee, don't do it, okay? And then pulse the leg up. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that knee. Reestablish low plank. Go to the other side, lift the knee, find stability, and then pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knee. Hold your plank. Lift the knees off the floor. Engage those arms. Lengthen the tailbone, lift one leg. Optional. Everything's optional, right? Just breathe. That's the only not option. Woo! Lower that side down, lift the other one, working with our hip strength here. And lower the knees, everybody. And stretch it out. Nice child's pose. Or hero pose. Or variation. Curl out the wrists if they're chatty. A lot of plank there, I understand. Just breathe. All right, come on back. Table pose. Downward facing dog. Again, assess the down dog. How does it feel to you? Good. Again, mindful. Always mindful. I don't even know why I say that, because of course you're being mindful. I want you to take your right foot center of your mat and take the left leg behind it, stepped across and behind. So my left foot is across behind and across my right. So hope that makes sense. If you can see that, work with the arms, press back, and then maybe lean to the right. Oh, sorry, to the left a little bit, just a little. And breathe. Release that side, first down dog. Left foot goes to the center. The right foot steps behind. We reach back, soft knees. And then we lean toward the right. Breathe. Release both of those. Find your toes, lower down to your knees. Now, not everybody's going to be able to do this, so if you're one of those, don't worry, just chill for a moment or hold your table pose. All I want you to do is take your right knee, bring it toward your chest, cross it over so it's in front of your left. You're going to walk up your mat and cross. Again, it's not for everybody, right, Miss Betty? So don't do it. Just stay in table pose for a second and come to the front of your mat. That's just a little hip work. And then find it on the way back. It's really a precursor to cow face legs, which we may or may not get to today. All right, you're back to the front of your mat. Thank you for entertaining me there. Step forward with your right leg. Take your hands on your butts. Nice solid lunge. And I know I've said this a zillion times, but if you are in a nice deep, what I would consider a deep lunge, make sure that back glute on that same side is active, okay? So I don't want you just dropping into space here. Open up the shoulders, feel the stretch. Use your breath. Straighten your front leg, been here already. Lengthen and point the toes to the floor. Don't flex the foot. So we're stretching the front of this ankle. You might, if you cramp up, just release and come back to it. Bend your front knee. Lift your back knee. We've been here already. It should feel much better second time through. Once you find that lunge, straighten the front leg. Keep the big toe pressing down to the floor. If you want, walk the blocks forward. Watch for an overreach. Don't overreach. But you can extend the arms out as you draw the right hip back. The torso lengthens forward. Bend your front knee. Take the arms up. Been here already. This is just repeat, review. Right? You ever hear that joke? Pete and repeat sat on a log. Pete fell off his left. Repeat, Pete, repeat, sat on a log. Okay, sorry. I don't know, I came up the other day, I'm like, oh my God, we used to tell that joke all the time when we were kids. All right, hands come to the floor, listen up. Walk your blocks just a little bit forward. A short hop forward with your back foot. A drop of the heel in and a straightening of the front leg. The hips level out. Your blocks are in front of you at some level, but don't overreach. Pyramid pose. Now, you might not need your blocks, it depends on the hamstring. So look at the front leg, your foot's pointing straight ahead. Your kneecap is pointing straight ahead. Your hands can be on the floor. They can be on your blocks, right? Wherever it makes sense for you. The right hip draws back. The torso lengthens out. Oh, press into your back foot more. Notice what changes, right? If I put a lot of weight in that back foot, it's like, oh, yeah, I like it. Bend your front knee. Step back with your left. You're back in that long lunge. Lower the knee. Release the right side. Maybe a little puppy stretch here. Just breathe. Stretch it all out. And come on up. When you're ready, it's the left leg forward. So we're doing the same thing, other side, right? Your hands go to your blocks, you're in your first lunge. Or you're in your low lunge. So this is what we were talking about. You're stretching the front of a leg, maybe strongly consider engaging the back of the leg. Right? It's what they're designed for. I believe that's what they were designed for. Straighten your front leg, but point the toes this time. The toes don't have to touch, but point them so that we stretch the front of that ankle. This is something we don't do very often, right? Is this lengthening of the front of the ankle. Think about walking. You don't ever do this. Good, release, bend the knee. High lunge. Use your blocks, hold your belly. Front knee is bent, the inner thighs working with each other, the back glute is active. Maybe take the hands up. I'm not 100% sure we did this on the other side, but that's all right. You know how to do it. Breathe. Good, slowly lower down. We're straightening the front leg. Lengthen out. Take a look at the front foot. Front foot straight, front kneecap straight forward, the hip reaching back, the torso reaching forward. Just soften it down. Big old hamstring opener here. Good, bend the front knee. You're going to walk those blocks forward a little bit so that you can hop up with the back foot. Make that more of a kind of 2/3 stance or 3/4 stance, depending on your body. The front hip rolls back again. Make sure that we don't let it roll forward, because then the kneecap will roll forward. Breathe. You can stretch it out. You can release the blocks. It feels good. Soften through the neck. Push into your back foot more. Notice how that changes the dynamic in the front leg. That's bend your front knee. Your hands walk through the blocks, walk back. Step back to your high lunge. Lower the knee, everybody. Release your pose. Set your blocks aside for a moment. And come on down to your bellies. Oh, that feels good. And just rock your hips side to side a little bit, just kind of smooth out. So when we're doing a lot of that kind of work, we're getting a lot of stretch through the hip flexors, the muscles that bend the knee up toward the chest. We're stretching those out. You might feel that as we're laying down. Kind of an interesting thing. So you're on your belly again. I want you to press strongly down through your pubic bone and see if both legs will lift off the floor. Don't go far, right? Just lift pointed toes. Try to keep the knees relatively straight. Your upper body is lowered on the floor. And then flutter kick the legs soft. Don't go big here. Keep it soft. Keep it fully, completely, 100% out of your lower back. We are working the glutes, everybody. So, flutter kick. Breathe. Woo! Come on, are you with me? That's it. And lower it all down, shake it out. And roll over to one side. I'm on my left, you decide for you. Again, grab your block, maybe for a little pillow for your head, just to keep that head in alignment. You're back on your side. The bottom knee is bent. Tone in through the belly, stack the hips, lift the top leg off the bottom one, so it's as if it were sitting on a shelf. Bring the knee toward your chest or toward your armpit, squeeze it in, and then extend it out. Reach it back a little. Don't go too far back. You go to your low back. Squeeze it in as high up into the chest or armpit as you can. And then press it straight back. Good, just one more here. Squeeze it in and press it back. This time, squeeze it up toward the armpit, straighten it out in front of you. Yaha, hard work. Slide it straight down the table, the imaginary table. Bend the knee, bring it in the chest. So you're doing super slow bicycles. This is obviously hip work. So bring the knee to your chest. Straighten it out in front of you the best you can. Slowly glide it back down. Let it reach behind the hip a little. And up. We got one more here. Up. Press it out. Slide it back. Bring your knee to your chest. Turn the knee up to the ceiling. That should feel pretty good, be pretty easy. Press the bottom leg down. Extend the top leg up. You can use your hand. You can grab your big toe. This is hand to big toe pose. Again, variation. Breathe. This one should be easy. It's out of the hips. It's back into the hamstrings, which we've been stretching the whole time. Bend the knee. Release it back down to the other knee. Oh, good. Take your hand and rub out that area you can feel it. All right, send it some love. And switch sides. The more and more I do this kind of work with the hips, honestly, the more important I think it is. I think we have been missing something. We do it a lot in our yoga classes anyway, but I'm just finding it really significant for the health of our hips, our legs, our backs. So that's what I think. Who knows for sure. Take the top leg, both knees are bent, push down on the bottom leg. Lift the top knee, try to have it level. I have the benefit of the camera in front of me, so I can tell if I'm dropping my knee, I can see it. But you're just gonna have to kind of feel that. And then bring that knee to your chest or to your armpit, really. Squeeze it all the way up that you can. And then just straighten it out, maybe even point the toes. And then bring it up, flex the foot. And exhale, press out. Good, just one more. Bring it up toward the armpit. Press it out straight. And then bring it up toward the armpit, maybe not as high. Extend it straight out. Make sure the toes are not pointing up. Heel up. Slide it down that imaginary table. Reach it behind your hip. And then bend the knee. Bring it back up toward the armpit. Straighten it out. You got this. This is piece of cake, right? Bend the knee. Bring it up. Last one. Stretch. Slide. Bring it up to the armpit. Take the knee up toward the ceiling. Straighten it up to the sky. You can use your hand or not. You really don't need to use anything unless it's just hard to hold that leg up. It really is okay. And breathe. And then bend the knee to the armpit. Release it down. Hold and rub it out. Good job, everybody. All right, we are not done yet, just in case you got super comfortable there. So let's come on back up. We're going to come to table pose, from table pose to downward facing dog. So press it on up. Find table pose. I know, just once, right? You go, whoo, Shavasana, 15 minutes long. Down dog, everybody, pedal it out. Just feel your down dog. How's it starting to feel to you? Maybe rock those hips a little bit side to side and it's starting to feel all stretched out. Take the feet wide on the mat. Walk your hands. Pull my shirt back down. Walk the hands to your feet. Bend your knees. Now, so important when we do this particular, just it's transition, right? But press the knees out into your imaginary wall and then come on up. Right? Because we can come down here and the knees roll in and then we press up. not nearly as good, I think, for the hips, so press them out to those imaginary walls. And then we lift up from there. All right, shake it out, everybody. You're gonna grab your blocks. And you're just gonna place them, I'll probably turn sideways, but you're just gonna place them in front of you. You're there for your hands when we're ready. Now, you might need to be near a wall for this, because it can be a little bit of a tricky balance. Not always, probably everybody's okay with it, but if you want a little extra, just security there. So what we did on the floor, we're gonna do again. You're gonna take your left foot, you're gonna walk your right foot a little bit toward the center, and then you're gonna step back and behind with your left. That's where can be a little tricky for people from a balance standpoint. Make sure the back knee is pressing a little bit into the front knee, because otherwise it can be really easy to hyperextend back. So I always soften the back knee into the front knee. From here, hinge from the hips. This is where the blocks come in. You're gonna place your hands on your blocks, maybe lower. Not everybody can go all the way down to the floor. Please honor that. The lower you go, the more stretch for the back, legs, hip. From here, pause, just feel this. Maybe lean a little bit to the left. Whichever leg is behind, that's the direction you head when you're leaning. Breathe, everybody. Ooh. Now, notice where the weight is on your feet. I noticed I was really leaning back, so I just shifted my weight forward a little bit, put it back toward the center of the feet. Breathe. Take the hips back to center. Hardest part of this pose is just getting up. So bend the knees more, hands come to thighs, and come up to standing, and then undo the legs. So again, it's this stretch. If we look at the iliotibial band, it goes all the way from here. This is your tensor fascia lata. It feeds into that, and it goes all the way past your knee. It's a big, wide tendon. It doesn't like to stretch, nor should we overstretch it, but we want to keep it moving. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing. All right, same thing, other side. I like starting with the blocks up high, even if I personally don't think I need them, because that gives me that fail safe, so I don't just fly down to the floor. Left leg sort of centered, right leg steps back and across. Soften the back knee so that we don't hyperextend. Hinge from the hips. Take the hands to the blocks, make sure you feel steady. And then lower the blocks as you wish, or fingertips to the floor, and find your pose. Just breathe. And then lean a little bit in the direction of the right hip. Try not to overhold the head, let the back of the neck be long. Shoulders are soft. Try to level into the center of your feet. And breathe. Good, bring the feet back into the center line, bend the knees more. Hands come to blocks or knees, and come on up, and then let go and shake it down. All right, final one here. Again, maybe a hand to a wall, a little bit of balance work and movement. So sometimes just hanging on to something is helpful, okay? We're going to start with the right leg forward. We're going to take the left foot out in front of us, flex the foot, and then swing it across and out. I just ran into the wall and swing it out. Some of you need wall, some of you don't, but don't make it a fight about balance. Like this is just working with that area. We were just working. Woo! Good, and then same leg, up and forward. Make sure you flex your foot, because if you catch your toe, it's gonna hurt like crazy. So flex your foot really strongly. And swing. Good, and last one, same leg. Bring it up and circle. You can tap down, bring it up, circle. Just 2 or 3 or 4. Woo! And shake it out. So if you're like me, you're feeling, right? It's been a lot of work on the hips. So maybe you're feeling that. All right, same thing, other side. We're gonna let it come forward first, because we don't want to hit our leg. And then just swing it side to side. And don't worry about which way it swings or which way the toes are going. Just go easy. Don't overdo. Don't try to get out far. Just let it be. That's a couple more. And then forward and back. Easy. Just go easy. Yeah. Ooh, I'm feeling the standing leg, are you? Yeah, and then circle that knee. Big circles. 1. Holy moly. Good job, everybody. Take them out. Take the legs wide, press the outer legs into imaginary balls. Big hinge of the hips. Come on down, just a simple forward fold. Let the torso be long. Right, maybe reach one arm and then the other arm, just feeling this nice stretch of everything. Mana, heel toe in, bend the knees, come on. Good, back to the front of your mat, we're almost done. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Step back to down dog. Lower the knees. All right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. We stretch the heck out of the hamstrings. I want to work them just a little bit, because a lot of the imbalances will come when the hamstrings are really stretched, the quads are really tight, neither the two shall meet. So, optional. 1, no block. We've done this one several times. You're gonna bring the knee up and you're just gonna see if you can extend and flex, engaging the hamstring. If you have the movement in the hip or the knee, you're going to sandwich one block between the back of your heel and the sit bone on that side, and then you're going to lift. Hold that block and pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, hold, breathe. If you get a super cramp, let go. Find your pose. Lower the knee, hang on to that block, take it out to the side, and see if you can hang on to the block. We're just holding. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. Switch sides, whichever you choose, block, no block, it's okay. I know some of you have those funky little knees that don't like to be compressed, and I get it. So do your best, lift up, block, no block. If you're not, that one wants to slip. If you're not using a block, you're just extending and then bending. Here we go, pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it out to the side. Squeeze that block into your hip. Woo. You got it. Come on, I know you can do it. I can do it, you can do it. Squeeze. And release it. Good job, everyone. And keep one block near you. Come on to your backs. I'm gonna take the little ponytail out because it was in the way earlier. There we go. Come on. Pause again here. I always like to pause when they first come onto my back, just to see what those muscles want to do, right? As they settle back into their alignment. When we're doing all of these poses where the legs are split apart and wide and narrow. So we just want to see how that feels. And breathe. The hands go down to your sides. Now, if you have enough, I want you to take a block, put it under your sacrum, and find a restorative bridge pose. If you're still okay, now you can be okay either way, by the way. You're okay whether you choose restorative, you're probably smarter than me if you do. Otherwise, we're going to do a little bit of bridge work before we call it a day. Shoulders go down, tiny space behind your lower back. But I want you to lengthen the tailbone, even with that space behind the back. Hands come down at your sides. Press the knees apart isometrically, but bring the heels a little bit toward each other. It's almost like you would turn your feet out, but you're not. Okay, it's kind of a weird thing. I hope you're kind of getting that sense. With that, I want you to lift, squeeze, and lower. When you lower, it's behind down, so butt down first, and lift. Don't go super high, work on the outer hips. Breathe, imagine you have an elastic band around those knees, and you have to keep that band a little bit taut. So just stretch and lower, squeeze. We got 3 left. Breathe. And 2, and 1, hold, don't go super high, even if you can normally in bridge, hold the sides of your yoga mat, push into your left leg, lift your right, any amount, breathe, and release, push into your right foot, lift your left, breathe, 1 more, both sides. We're not trying to be heroes here. Just lift the foot, press into the other foot, try not to let the hip drop. And other side. Both feet to the floor. Now grab your block. Take it under your sacrum. Hallelujah. And let the sacrum be full and heavy on that block. And just pause. Bring the right knee into chest, straighten the left leg down to the floor, let both legs relax. So as stretch here for that left side. Just breathe. And then just a little bit here, just for play. I want you to just ever so slightly walk the left heel in toward the center or toward the right. Okay, so we're just tapping into the psoas muscle a little bit. And then if you're still okay, just a little shimmy of the shoulders to the right and the left arm overhead and toward the right. So we're creating a little bit of a banana shape on the left side. We're stretching through the psoas muscle here. If you take a deep breath and exhale, you'll feel that. Sometimes you can feel the psoas on the exhale as the diaphragm presses down. It's a fascinating muscle all in its own. Bring the left foot back to a neutral, bring the shoulders back to neutral. The left arm comes back. Bend the left knee, bring it to chest, and straighten the right leg. Let the leg fully relax. Don't flex the foot, don't hold the leg. Just let it relax. The hips are level, and then say that on the other side. You can do this without a block, by the way. You can do a little banana stretch without a block. And you can just bring knee to chest. All right, so you're just gonna slide the right heel toward the left a little. You're gonna take the right arm overhead and stretch the shoulders, and then arm over to the left a little bit. And then you're gonna take a few nice deep breaths. Release the right foot back to neutral. Shimmy the shoulders back to neutral. Release that right arm. Bring your right knee to your chest. Make sure you are solid and square on your blocks. And then take the legs up to the sky. This is just a lovely inversion. Probably one of my favorite inversions that feels good and is easy to do, safe to do. You don't even need a wall. But you can take legs up a wall, legs up a chair as well. Feels so good. And then feel your breath. Breathe in for 4. Pause for 4. Exhale for 4. 2 more, just like that. Inhale 4. Pause. Exhale 4. 1 more. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. And then bend the knees, bring them into chest. 1 foot at a time goes to the floor. Press feet solidly into the floor, lift the hips. Take the block out, but just pause for a second. And then lower the back and the hips back down to the floor. Draw your knees to your chest. Straighten one leg to the floor. Straighten the other leg to the floor. Give your glutes a big squeeze right here, glutes, legs, hips. And let it go and find your shavasana finally. We're running just a few minutes over, so hang in there with me if you can. In your shavasana, just feel your body, feel your connection to the earth, to your breath, to this community, to the world. Just breathe everyone. Soften your body into the earth. Let go for a moment longer. Soften even more. All right, those of you ready, start to wiggle out of your Shavasana, wiggle your toes, your fingers, maybe circle the wrists, stretch out the fingers. Those of you who would like to stay, please stay in your Shavasana a little bit longer. But those ready, bend the knees. Draw your knees to your chest. Rock side to side. And then curl over into fetal pose. Just pause for a moment there. And as you're ready, come on up, slowly press up to your seated pose. Bring your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner wisdom, your strength, compassion, love. Together we can do just about anything. Namaste, everyone. Thank you all so much.